This is Meg Sexton, a fourth year undergraduate student in geology at the School of Biological Earth and Environmental Sciences at UCC. We're standing in front of the school here on a lovely November morning and in front of a beautiful rock, which I'm sure Meg will mention a little bit later. But Meg, can you tell me, what subjects did you do for your Leaving Cert, and how did that influence what you liked as a student and what you thought you might do when you grew up?
Well, I did the standard, Irish, English, French, math, and then I picked geography and I picked history and biology. And I didn't actually want to do geography, but I had a talk in TY and they were telling us about you can learn about animals, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I started doing geography for the Leaving Cert and I just fell in love with the geology aspect of it. I didn't care about the regional geography. I didn't care about any of the animals. I loved learning about metamorphism, and I loved learning about igneous and sedimentology, and I thought it was so cool that we could actually look at rocks and we could actually learn about the history of the earth. And I also studied biology. I loved biology. I had a great biology teacher, and I loved being in a lab, and I loved actually applying the skills I was learning to a real life specimen. So I was like, I have to do something sciencey in college. I just do, really. And history was just a bit of a random one, I suppose.
Great, okay. And right, you had your love of geology, you had your love of biology.
Yeah.
So what in particular made you choose to come here to UCC?
Well, I knew I wanted to come to UCC because I'm from Cork and I didn't really want to move out. I just knew I wasn't personally ready for that. And I also thought, I was looking up courses just all around the country, and a lot of the courses that were biology based were really focused on biochem. And I didn't do chemistry, and I didn't particularly enjoy chemistry. And then I found the CK 404, and I really liked that it was a really broad degree for first year, and no matter what I did, every subject that you could go into was something I enjoyed. And I started CK 404, I very luckily got the points, and I just really enjoyed the geology lectures, and I was just I knew right away it was either going to be earth science or geology, and then I picked geology because I wasn't a huge fan of geography, like regional geography. So yeah, and I think the department really helped as well because the lecturers are so friendly and stuff that they really made me want to be a part of the geology department.
And so you picked CK44, and then you came here and you really enjoyed first year and you picked geology. Can you tell us something? You're a fourth year student now. So what would you consider would be the highlights or the best parts of your degree?
I mean, I think everyone says this, but the field trips really, they really make the course. I mean, I think as well, the department is absolutely fantastic. All the lecturers are so friendly, you can just chat to them, you don't feel you're being talked down to at any stage. And I think as well, going on the field trips really solidifies a really good friendship with your course, and everyone becomes really close. And we are a relatively small group per year, there's only about 15 of us, including international field geosciences. So, and we all become really close over these, the field trips might just be a week, and it really, really helps. And it also, it's really amazing to actually get the skills you've been learning in, your lectures, and actually go out into the real world, especially when the weather's good, and go on beaches and look at rocks and just, do what you're there for and really enjoy it, I think.
And how have you found living in Cork? What about Cork as a place to live?
I think Cork is great because, it's quieter than Dublin. It's not as big. It's not as, kind of complicated to get around. Maybe I'm biased because I've lived here my whole life, but even going to college, I think really gave me an appreciation for the art scene in Cork. I used to go to the Kino a lot to see my friend's boyfriend's band play, and, there's some really lovely pubs, and, there's some lovely shops, and I think the cafes and the restaurants are lovely because some of them are really unique, and there's a lot of small businesses in Cork as well, I think, that really give it quite, a unique feeling, in the English market and stuff.
Great. And back to the degree, the last 9 months haven't been exactly normal when it comes to learning and teaching and everything. Would you have anything to say about, how it's been, what it's been like to have to do learning online?
I think everyone's found it a bit of an interesting transition, to say the least. I think as well, especially this semester, we're all a little bit more used to it because we ended last semester being online. I think some of the kinks have kind of been ironed out and stuff. And it's not ideal for anyone, especially when you're doing a science degree. But the fact that we can come into the labs to a certain degree, and you know, as long as we're socially distanced and we wear masks and we use our hand sanitizer, like we're okay. And like, I mean, I'm currently doing a research project, so you know, being online isn't ideal, but I mean, the department have been really good about making a lot of accommodations for us, and like they're always there to talk to. And like, you know, the lectures, you know, we're doing the screen sharing on Microsoft Teams and stuff, so you can look at the slides and you can go through them with your lecturer. So I mean, it's not completely different because you're doing relatively the same material. It's just, you know, you're stuck at home doing it instead of going into college. But you know, it's still fine, I think, personally.
Great. And you know, what do you think you're going to do afterwards?
I personally want to do a master's. I'd love to go into research or something, but I also know that that's not a completely feasible option for a lot of people. And I also would really like to do something regarding like geothermal energy, because I do think, you know, renewable fuel sources are the future and that we should start phasing out finite fuel sources. So I really think, you know, especially in Ireland, I think there is some opportunity to start harnessing geothermal energy a bit more. So I really would like to be part of that industry and try to make a difference to the environment and, you know, try to help it in some way because it needs all the help it can get.